Hey guys, Brian at Mototech. Today we're going to go over bottom end compatibility for the 99 to current YZ250. I'll start with the cases. 99 to 01 are the same. You can switch them all around, doesn't matter. You can use all three of those years. Then after that, 02 and newer, they went from having a 17 millimeter pivot bolt for the swing arm to an 18 millimeter, and then the outside diameter of the bushing is also different, so you can't just swap the bushings. If you want to use the older cases or just a half on a newer bike, you have to machine the inside diameter 1 millimeter larger. If you want to use a newer case on an older bike, you'd have to custom make a bushing that had a smaller hole. And then in 2011 and newer, they gained a neutral switch. That's the only difference though. You could use this on a 02 to 2010, but you'd have to run a neutral switch that isn't hooked to anything. You could cut the wires off to block the hole. Or you could use the 02 to 10 case on the newer bike and just not use a neutral switch. Doesn't really matter. Just changes the timing in neutral. So that's the compatibility for those. They all use the same bearings, especially for the cranks and stuff. Yeah, there's no other changes that matter. Everything else bolts up to them. Like I said, same crank bearing. The left-hand crank seal is the same from 99 to current, which is 25. Difference with the cranks and flywheels. This one is 99 and 2000. It had a collar that went on here that's super hard to find. If you lose yours or it's ruined, not super fun. Sometimes they just upgrade to the newer ones, but you'll see. Also has the different crank seal because it rides on that collar instead of on the fixed part of the crank. Flywheel taper, bolt smaller, and the flywheel is different for that year, smaller and lighter. And then in 2001 and 2002, they updated the right-hand web to not have that collar that comes off, and it uses a different primary gear spacer. And then the left side of the crank remained the same, but they added some weight to the flywheel, kind of like a flywheel weight, just make it a little heavier. And then in 03 to current, they switched to a larger taper, larger nut, and very similar design, but flywheel that fits on that. And this remained the same, so both these versions take the same right-hand crank seal. This same spacer fits on both, and all three use the same primary gear, water pump gear, bolt, all that stuff. So you can switch these all around depending on what you want. A lot of people upgrade to the 03 and newer. And if you want to do an electric start, it's mandatory. Both companies that offer that use the 03 crank. So hopefully this answers everybody's questions so I never have to explain this again.